Mid-century Las Vegas projected an image of limitless neon opportunity, but that light stopped at a deliberate border. Beyond the casinos lay a segregated reality. Looking at this 1950s map of Las Vegas, the stark divide is visible. City planners explicitly drew lines around the Westside. Through systemic redlining, African American residents were geographically restricted to this single neighborhood. Thousands of black laborers migrated to southern Nevada to build major federal infrastructure projects, like the Hoover Dam. When their shifts ended, they were forced back into this specific constrained zone. Recognizing the intense discrimination facing workers at both the dam and the Strip, figures like Arthur McCants stepped in. He organized laborers and established the first branch of the Las Vegas NAACP in 1928, providing a formal structure for resistance. Inside that redlined boundary, the city withheld basic survival resources. Westside residents lacked municipal infrastructure and medical care, and they were legally barred from entering the very casinos they had helped build. If a community is excluded from a city's economy and infrastructure, how do they survive to eventually lead that exact system? Survival required building from within. Before Westside leaders could challenge the city's outward barriers, they first had to construct their own internal systems of support. Because white hospitals strictly refused to treat black patients, medical access had to be community-funded. In the late 1940s, practitioners like Dr. Roy G. Hay and Dr. Charles I. West established free clinics directly on the Westside to care for thousands of denied citizens. Educational representation required dismantling institutional resistance. In the 1940s, Mabel Hoggard became the first licensed African-American schoolteacher hired by the Clark County School District. In 1946, Herman Moody became the first black police officer hired in southern Nevada. The department subjected him to severe institutional disrespect, denying him standard academy training and even a uniform, forcing him to teach himself Nevada law. To unify these local efforts, the neighborhood needed a voice. Alice Key, an entertainer turned journalist, co-founded the Las Vegas Voice newspaper and became the first African-American to host a regular television program in the state. By building out the essential pillars of health, education, and media, these foundational pioneers transformed the isolated West Side into a self-sustaining launchpad for change. With internal stability established, West Side leadership launched a targeted campaign to dismantle Jim Crow laws across Nevada's legal and geographical systems. In 1960, Dr. James McMillan issued a stark ultimatum to city officials and casino owners. His strategy worked, forcing the rapid desegregation of the Las Vegas Strip hotels. On the legal front, attorney Charles L. Keller was dispatched to Las Vegas by the NAACP, becoming the first black attorney admitted to the Nevada State Bar in 1965. Keller filed landmark lawsuits that systematically challenged the state's housing and school segregation. This aerial photograph shows the massive trench of an interstate highway threatening to permanently sever the West Side from downtown. Neighborhood organizer Ethel Pearson launched a legal campaign, forcing the state to build an exit ramp directly connecting the divided areas. Civil rights progress in Las Vegas was a targeted legal and geographic siege executed by the West Side's own leadership. As the community's influence grew, the focus shifted from demanding access to securing actual governance and corporate ownership. Political power shifted decisively. Joe Neal spent 32 consecutive years in the Nevada State Senate, while former NFL player Frank Hawkins secured a seat on the Las Vegas City Council. Economic control followed. Sarah Knight Preddy became the first African-American woman to receive a Nevada gaming license, operating the historic Moulin Rouge. Later, Don Barden expanded into downtown Las Vegas, becoming the first African-American to own a major casino. Inside those once segregated properties, Faye Duncan Daniel broke through the notoriously rigid hierarchy, securing a mid-level corporate management position on the Strip. Modern infrastructure equity is now guided by leaders like Louis Cotton, Larry Weekley, and William McCurdy II, who have taken the helm of major county commissions and tourist authorities. These pioneers began by demanding a way in. They ended up owning the building and rewriting the rules. The political and economic landscape of modern southern Nevada reflects decades of these systematic, multi-generational efforts. Yet, standard civic records historically ignored or erased African American achievements from the official timeline, leaving this history vulnerable. Recognizing this risk, Clay T.D. Washington systematically collected hundreds of historic Westside profiles at UNLV. Simultaneously, Jean Ford co-founded the Nevada Women's History Project to bridge these records into state archives. Their work preserved the journeys of figures like Bob Bailey, arriving in 1955 as an entertainer and staying to become a central federal minority business advocate, cementing his role in institutional history. Civic equity became a permanent part of the city's infrastructure, a legacy forged by these trailblazers, alongside the concrete and neon they helped build.